Okay, well, bear with me. This is my very first live stream that I've done on my channel. I don't plan on doing a lot of them, but I thought it'd be fun to do this. I'm kind of iced in today. We've had a pretty good ice storm here, so I'm going to finish building the Campbell Scale Models ice tower, or sand tower, not ice tower, sand tower. I got the bin and the drying house pretty well started yesterday. I still have finishing stuff to do on the sand bin, and then I need to paint the house and then build the tower for it on the side. So I'm going to get started here with mixing some paint that I want to use for this, and I used on my water tower that I finished. It's kind of a combination of a few colors that I mix together until I get it like I want it. Well, they're all acrylics. Some of them are Vallejo colors, and some of them are just cheap acrylic colors from Hobby Lobby. And I like the way that color came out much better than, say, this is Badger color, and it's really, really yellow. I don't know if you can pick that up in the camera, but it's really, really bright yellow, much more so than what I want to use. And so I'm mixing my own and getting a little closer to what the color is I want to have. Excuse me, let me grab my palette. If you have any questions along the way, I'll answer them best I can. I'm going to try and keep an eye on chat. Okay. I'm using three different colors, and it may seem a little strange, but it works really well for what I'm trying to achieve with the weathering and stuff on this. I won't have to come back and do a lot more weathering to it. And actually the color, as I move around the building, the color will be different in a few places, which is what would happen on a real building, because you have sides that are exposed to the weather, or to, not to the weather, but to the sun, are going to be much more apt to bleach out than say the north and the east sides. The south and the west tend to really catch the sun in almost any place in the country, in this country. This is a nice, Campbell's kits are really nice kits. They're probably some of the earliest craftsman kits that have been out there. I've seen them since I was a kid, and really fell in love with some of them. And of course, some guys build them a lot better than I do. But since I build for myself, I'm not too worried about that. As long as I'm happy with it, that's all I'm worried about. But you can find them on eBay. They are still open. In fact, they're over in Steve Arnold's neck of the woods, over near Grants Pass, Oregon. The owner actually lives in Grants Pass, but the factory, I think, is over. Oh, Steve, help me out. Can't think of the name of the town just west of you. But that's where their factory is. They bought it from the original owner. The man that started the company lived in California. And this kit was actually produced in September of '66. And it's been in the box ever since. It was still still had all the packages. Everything still works on it, like the gum on the back of the shingles is still good. They were a little bit curled, so I had to actually that actually worked out pretty well, because when I'd straighten them out to cut them, they were kind of curled in a banana shape, and you're supposed to lay them in a straight line along the roof. And some of them were curled pretty good. So what it did, in effect, when I got them on there, is it made the shingles want to stand up pretty good. You can kind of see how they really are ruffled on there. And I think it gives it a real nice, realistic effect. And doing the paint this way, one thing I like about it is if I get too bright with the bright yellow that I'm using, the brighter yellow that I'm using, I've got the darker paints. I can just come right back behind it with a little bit of water and go over it, and it just dulls it back down. And then, of course, I'll go back over this with some weathering too. But I want to get this on here because the sand tower that I'm getting ready to do goes on top of this. Not on top, but next to it. It's connected to the building. Hey, Dwight. Hey, Mike. Yeah. Oh, you built this then? Yeah, I had one of my airplane buddies. I sold my last airplane that I had. He came by to pick it up, and I was showing him what I was doing, and he goes, "Man, my hands won't stay still long enough to do that stuff." I told him, I said, it wasn't the shaking that bothered me. It was the being able to hang on to stuff. I'm constantly dropping stuff on the floor. And any of you guys that know Mike, my workmanship is nearly as good as his is. but I do enjoy doing it. And like I say, they come out and they look good enough for me. So that's all I'm worried about. If I was going to try and do a competition model, I would probably have a anxiety attack. The stain I used on the roof is I've used it on several other things, and I really like it. It's very subtle, and I think I showed this on Mike's channel one time. It's Weathering Mix Hunterline, hunterline.com in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. This is their creosote. That's probably shining too much. This is their creosote blend. There we go. That's a little better. And it really gives a nice subtle look. Some of the other that I have that's kind of like that, or supposed to be like that, is quite a bit darker. And it can really, the problem with going too dark too early is it's hard to lighten it back up once it's stained in there, if at all. But with this, I can just wait till it dries and put another coat on, and it gets a little bit darker. Hey, John. How's it going? This your busy time of year, I would imagine. Being an accountant, I would think you wouldn't have much time for anything else but taxes. I almost opted to stain this like I did the sand bin, but I thought it might be a nice contrast to have this painted in the close to Durango, Denver and Rio Grande Western's yellow. In contrast to the sand pit, which I used the stain on that I showed you. This still has to have the reinforcing rods gone across the top, and of course the sand installed. I've just got the balsa in there to fill most of the void, and then of course this will get a little bit more weathering also. I was going to say, because my wife starts to bug me about this time of year for my mileage records and my receipts and all that. Although this last year she started keeping a lot of that stuff for me, and I think it was so she didn't have to wait for me to give it to her at the end of the year. The yellows I'm using on here, the colors are, let me look here right quick. Not Antico, that's not the one. The bright yellow I'm using is called Dijon. And like I say, this is just a Hobby Lobby or Walmart craft paint. Then the other two that I picked up, I got these at Hobby Lobby also, but these are a lot more expensive. These are $5 a bottle. And I don't see much difference in the quality of the paint. If you can find the same color in this stuff is like $1.25 or something a bottle. But this is ochre brown, and then Amarillo Desert is the other one I'm using. And just kind of mixing them together by eye as I go, because I'm just after that old paint look. I'm not after a brand new paint job. I find too that these acrylic paints paint onto this raw wood pretty well. I mean, the wood takes it really well, almost like a stain, especially if you get enough water in with it. Like a wash. It I got a little bit. There we go. You get it more like a wash. It goes almost on like a stain. And this old wood, as old as this kit is, it really sucks up the paint. So it does mimic a stain, even though it's an acrylic paint. So Mike, how much did you have left on your, I didn't see your whole video the other day. How much you got left on your remodel? There's Steve. Finally. Have trouble getting your AirPods in, bud? I may get Steve on here with me next week. He couldn't come on today. I'll get him on here and make fun of him on camera. Yeah, painting it this way, I really, really like this, the way it ends up looking. Like I say, if I get some a little bit dark like I did there, I can just go back over it with the brighter colors, and it just looks like faded paint. And then I'll come back some more with some of that stain and get the real worn places that the weather would have taken care of. Okay, you kind of see that, I guess. The light in here is awful. It's good for my building, but it's not great for the camera, I don't think. Where I've got it placed is not good. Anyway, that's that part. And if you excuse me just a minute, I'm going to clean the paint out of this brush. I'll be right back. Oh, and I guess as an added little thing I can show, I wasn't planning on showing this, but I could show it to you guys. I'm about 95% done with this. Mainly just got to make the signs and put the lighting in. I'm kind of waiting on the lighting to get here. This is a Sudum kit, or California Models kit. I think they ended up buying Sudum, but this is the office for the lumberyard. And then I'll show you one of the. This is one of the lumber racks. Makes a nice little. These are nice little kits too. And then it's also got the little saw shop or shed for the saws and the planers and that sort of thing that go in there. And then I built some extra lumber bundles and things like that for it. And that will get named after my father, who was a builder and a carpenter all his life, and taught me pretty much everything I know about the business, enough to not get in it. So anyway, the next big thing I've got to build is the tower for this. And I was reading the instructions on this, and I don't know if this is really going to lend itself to video, to live stream, but I thought it might be fun to try to do some of this. It's amazing how good this wood and this kit is. Of course, being that old, it was much better grade lumber back then than we get now. I love the hand grabs for the ladder going up the tower are just staples, but they work. And the little chain. Uh-oh. I see one problem. Okay, Mike, what's the secret to getting the knot out of the chain? Let me work on that later. That may take a while, so I don't break that chain. Okay, first thing I got to do after reading the instructions. Oh, and I bought this, and then I went online, and on Campbell's site, they've actually got the set of templates and stuff that are all labeled. The old templates are not labeled very well. And you can download these and print them off, and it really comes in handy when you're trying to figure out what they're talking about in the instructions, because as you see, here's the original set. And yeah, they name stuff, but they don't actually tell you what bag it was in, anything like that. This one, at least they've got the bags marked on there and a little bit more information included in it, which helped immensely on doing some of the other stuff that I've done with their kits. And this is the first thing I got to do is shape this. Well, if I find my right there in front of me, as it usually is. You guys don't have that problem, do you? Can't find something that's laying right in front of you? That's true, Fred. He doesn't have to be on camera. I can make fun of Steve pretty much anywhere. He's a pretty good old boy. So being a Craftsman kit, of course, they leave a lot of it for you to do. Although these kits I found aren't all that difficult to do. They do have small pieces to them, but if you just take your time and follow the instructions, and if you don't understand them, read them again, that sort of thing. I have to shape the top of the legs for this, for the what do they call that? I don't know what they call that. The sand tank, I guess, at the top of the tower that they pump the sand up to it. and it fits on the top of these legs in that shape, or at least it says it does. So here's the tank, and it has to fit inside in there somehow. I'm not sure how they got it labeled up. Oh, that's on the side. I'm not going to try and explain it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me right off, but it probably will here in a minute. Oh, it may be just because it makes the bands tighter around the top that hold the tank. There we go. Okay. Excuse me just a moment. I'm going to go over here to my bandsaw and take off most of this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now I can sand it down to finished. The sander I'm using is actually emery boards from the beauty supply. My wife does her own nails, and she used to give me all her old ones. Well, she still does give me her old ones, because by the time she's done with them, they still have a lot of life for wood, and they're great for doing this kind of thing. And they come with several different grits, but you can find them at a beauty supply. Okay, those are cut and filed, and all that good stuff. Okay, now, I have read the instructions, but I'm going to go back over them. Well, actually, the next thing I need to do is stain this stuff, because this is all going to be stained wood on the outside. I'll do that right quick. Eight tape measures. Actually, this is much quicker. Much faster that way. This gives it says it's creosote color, but to me it looks more like a just plain weathered wood that's been out for a long time and bleached. And of course, around a steam engine facility, it's going to be grimy too, with all the coal dust and cinders. That's one of the things, guys. If you've never been on one of the sightseeing excursion trains, either in Colorado or the East Broad Top, or some of the others that are around the country that use steam, actually still use steam engines and burn coal. I don't know how many there are. I know Durango, Silverton, and Cumbers and Toltec still use coal most of the time, but you will get cinders even in the coaches. You will come home with cinders in your hair and on your skin, but it's a free souvenir. So I had a rather large set of mutton chops when we went the last time, and I was cleaning that out of my facial hair for the next 2 days, and I finally shaved it off. It's the only way I got it all out. The only thing I don't like about dipping this in is it tends to get more of a more even effect on it. But I can always come back later and dab some more of this in certain spots to give it more of a stained look or more of a weathered look in particular places on the structure, whatever it is I'm building. This doesn't take too long to dry because it's just an ink and alcohol mixture. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. See the staple they got? That's what they're using for the hand grabs, and it's through this one little piece. And I don't know. I haven't looked at the instructions to see if that's supposed to be like that or if it got that way in the box. If it wasn't supposed to be that way and it got that way in the box, that's pretty good maneuvering. See you, John. Take care. Okay. Oh, I got to cut that off. I'm making mine a narrow gauge. So the instructions say you can use it for either or both. But since I am doing this strictly for the narrow gauge area, I'm going to cut 3 scale feet off the bottom of it. Anyway, these emery boards, they're foam and they've got grit, 2 different grits on it, and they're made for doing fingernails. But man, they are fabulous for doing balsa wood and basswood and that sort of thing. Sanding, because they last for quite a while. They're lightweight. They're fairly thin. I've even taken scissors to them or a razor blade and cut them into smaller strips. Okay. I'm going to mark the right on the front. Okay. This is one of those instructions that you got to look at 4 times before you can figure out what they're actually wanting you to do. Okay, it goes right there. No, that's not it. X-brace right there. Okay, I don't think they know what they're talking about. I'm working on this one. And I use a combination of glues. If I'm going to paint, I'll usually use the Type Bond 3, but if I'm going to glue stain stuff together, most of the time I'll use CA glue. A lot of times it just depends on the application. But the CA at least dries clear, so even if it does get out the side and I don't see it, besides, how else can I leave DNA on all my work? Because I usually do. You get your fingers stuck to it and then go to pull it away and your skin's all stuck to it. I know every airplane I ever built, model airplane I ever built, had DNA in it. Oh, isn't this fun to watch? Oh, he's here. There goes the neighborhood. How you doing, Heath? Hey, and Fred, did I see something about you tearing down your layout? I didn't have a chance to look at the video, but it sounded like from the title you were tearing it down. Okay. Already got me drilling holes in it. This was 60 drill or not. Okay. They ran away. Oh, there they are. Okay. That's not the one I want. Okay, that's not fair, guys. You're not showing me both sides of it. So let's go to the far side. I don't get too terribly picky with where these bolt heads go, as long as I'm close to what they've got. There again, I'm not in doing this for competition, so I just get pretty close. You two there. Isn't this fun? Bolts everywhere. Okay, come here. Okay, and they do this like they think I can actually drill a straight hole. When I get real lazy, I'll actually check this pin vise in my either my handheld drill or my drill press, but neither one of those will drill it really straight with a small bit. In fact, these don't have to go all the way through. And this is one of the reasons I don't do live streams. I have too much dead air. Yeah, I did the same thing, Fred. Started mine and got the actual had the whole standard gauge main line laid down, and except for the dual gauge track, and decided it wasn't going to work for what I needed, and which wasn't so much on the layout end as it was for me physically. And so I changed it before I went too far with it. But yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Yeah, I much prefer a live stream where there's more than one person on it, if I'm going to be on it, because I feel like I'm talking to myself sometimes doing it this way. But maybe I can get Steve on next week with me. Oh, come out of there. Oh, must be a knot. Doesn't want to drill. There we go. Okay. Get that, get that. Get that one. All right. Helps when you look at the right page. Okay, and then turn legs for the grab irons. Okay, we'll make it this one. And then the one thing you got to be careful of, since I cut the 3 feet off the bottom, 3 scale feet off the bottom, now I have to do all my measurements from the top. Otherwise, they don't line up very well. That's too big a drill bit, I got a feeling. Well, that says a 60, but I don't think they meant a 60. Yeah, that's way too big. Kind of like my head, way too big. Well, that's good, Fred, that you could save some of your previously built stuff. I didn't save anything on mine because when I started the first time, I didn't have the fast track stuff, so I wasn't building my own turnouts. And I had modified some that weren't DCC ready, and then ended up giving them away. Who did I send? Oh, I sent them to Jason. All my turnouts that I had that I didn't use, I sent to Jason. Yeah, sure. Go all the way through. Didn't want to do that. Okay. That's the right spacing, though. This is only slightly more fun than watching paint dry. The mark is not in the right spot. By the way, guys, anybody that is interested, I'm not into making money off the channel and all that mess, or, I don't ask for likes and subscribes and all that. I don't mind them, but I don't ask for them. I'm not here for that. But I do have a Teespring site. It's not in the description of this video, but it would be on one of my others on this channel. And if you wanted a shirt, I've got shirts and I think some sweatshirts and stuff like that. It's got a logo like this on it, bigger on the back. Also have coffee cups. Anybody that collects coffee cups like I do, I've got those up there, and I've got them. I'm making like 25 cents or 50 cents or something, whatever I rounded it to, down close to what the cost was, just so they'd be more affordable for anybody that wanted them, because like I say, I'm not after making money with it. So if you're so inclined to want to buy one of those, they're on one of my, should be in the description of one of my other videos, my last video, especially my last update video. And I'll try and remember to put it in the description of this one after I get done. You know what I just realized? I'm an idiot. That only goes on one leg. See? Can't talk and chew gum at the same time. My granddaughter can, though. She can eat an entire dinner and talk the whole time. Start getting ahead of myself. Okay. I'm not sure what brace it is. That's got to be one of these little puppies right here that goes on there across that way. Oops. I didn't drill that one though. Oops, I need this brace. And if anybody ever needs a good reason to keep your workbench clear, just watch this video. Let's glue on here first. Go the other way. Try this again. Gotta love the projects where you need to be an octopus. that would come in handy. Have that many arms to be able to hold things. Okay. Okay, Steve. See you later. Well, you're not listening to much, Heath. I'm more chatty when I have company. It's hard to talk one-sided for very long for me. Friends of 2 turn on. Z on the drawing. Sure they are. Not that drawing. Mark the Z. Ah, there's Z. Diagonal and horizontal. Okay. Why there? Okay. Okay. So we're still working here. And I have that one. That's a wide one. Get off of there. Another fun thing they did, these braces, they've got marked with one letter. They're 3 different sizes of brace. Not confusing at all. And that's such a small piece of wood, I wouldn't even call that a brace. Okay, there's those 2. There's another one there. Why is there 2 there? Makes no sense to me. That's X, that's Y. Strange. Okay. What's wrong one this way? And I don't use an X-Acto knife. I usually use a straight edge, just regular straight edge razor blades. For me, they're thinner, they cut better. About the only time I use an X-Acto is if I'm having to dig something. But I rarely use an X-Acto knife. I just found I had to replace the blade too often to make it worth doing. Okay, that one's for that one. That one goes on the back side, so no, just like that. Dummy. That's why you don't do that. Helps if you glued both ends of the piece when they're small like this. There we go. Okay, now we get that one up here. That's going to be. Hey, Heath, if you're still listening, I ordered that roller from Iron Planet Hobbies, and they had three, I think 2 or 3 left in stock when I ordered mine. And later that day, I got an email from them saying they didn't have it. But I wasn't in a hurry for it, so they did get it to me. It came yesterday. Let's try and get it straight, dummy. And let's see somebody build one of these in N scale. Oops. And of course, that's where you screwed up, dummy. Of course, of course, of course. I think I said that earlier in the video that I had to do all my measuring for everything else from the top and not the bottom. So did I follow my rules? No. I'm way ahead of myself. But it's not the first time I've done something like that, so. And I'm sure it won't be the last, even though I know better. Okay, let's try that again. Flip over. There we go. I like using a medium CA for attaching parts and stuff like this. Mainly for the reason that it's not so runny that it gets away from you. Like the thin it will just wick everywhere and and leave a glaze on everything. So I try not to use it except where I know that's not going to matter. And then I'll only use the medium CA to actually install parts like this because I can control it better. It also dries just slightly, well, quite a bit slower actually, but it makes it easier to position and pull stuff off because of that. And the reason it's important to measure back from the top, since I cut the 3 feet off the bottom, is for the excuse me. It's for the spout support and all the paraphernalia goes with the spout. If you get the braces in the wrong place, then you're probably going to be in the way of your platform of your spout. It's just a tad higher there. Okay. Okay, let's see if I got all my Y's underneath X. Why go across there? Why? And there it goes. Oh, thanks for the invite, Human. Heath. Evening live streams are tough for me to make because that's time I spend with the wife after she gets home from work. And so that's why you won't see me on a lot of the chats and the live streams because I'm spending time with her. That might change. Probably not in the near future, but at least by November when she retires, she'll be here all the time, so it won't be as big a deal. Yeah, he made good on the orders, and he had good communication with me, so I didn't have a problem with that. And like I said, I in fact, when he emailed me that day, I emailed him right back and said, "No, it's okay," because I wasn't in a hurry for it. It wasn't really set up yet to do that, but I will be here for long, and they were here now, so it's good I've got them because that's going to work out really nice, and that is a really nice set for. In case you don't know what we're talking about, Heath had shown these on his channel from Iron Planet Hobbies, and they had a good deal on them. But between the free shipping and your discount, I think it was like $80, and this will do. It's got 12 rollers in it. We'll do, 12 axles, so you can do a pretty good sized locomotive on this, and you can do it to anything from HO to HO down to P4 and EM, whatever those are. I don't know what those are, but I only need it for the HO and the HON3. It doesn't say HON3 on it, but it does say HOE, HOM. That's 12 millimeter. TT, which I know is close. But I think the HOE is the one that's the closest to HON3. But it did say HON3 on the website. So if it doesn't work, I'll send them back to him with a nasty note. But I feel pretty confident that it will handle what I need it to do. There I go again down at the bottom. Okay, I don't know if I've got all those in or not. Get that support in. Okay. I said 5. I don't count 4. Where the other one is. Oh, there it is. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I just need to put the backside one on there. Well, how long have we been on here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured you could probably have some crossover in the scales on that. "91 minutes. And there's still 5 people here. Well, one of them's me because I'm having to watch chat. So there's still 4 people here. Okay. Well, feel free to ask questions if you've got any. This is kind of going slow because this is fairly tedious. I actually should have done it yesterday when I built the drying house. This went much quicker. And of course, I'm not finished with it, but the basic part of it went much quicker than what I'm doing today. This is actually the tower, holds the canister for the sand and the spout. So glad they which ones? Okay, thermal 3/32. Okay, that's that one by 3/32. And a 1/32 by 1/8 inch. It's not that one. Maybe this one here. Nope, 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 nope. It's this one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What? Okay. Okay. That's what that is. Excuse me. Okay, now see if we can glue those in place. Little modeling pins like this. These I got years ago. I want to say from Germany, um, but they're very fine uh, pins. Plus, they have the big head that you can get a hold of that won't pull off when you go to pull it out, even if it's glued in. But they come in very handy for doing stuff like this, where I just stick the back of this instead of having to hold it with tweezers, I can stick it and not have to worry about keeping the tweezers closed while I'm positioning. It's hard enough to keep your hands still while you're doing it. So this comes in real handy for me in doing this sort of stuff where I'm applying in. Oh, come on, back over here. I don't have to worry about dropping it, other than dropping the pin, which which has happened in the past. A lot of times I'll use an accelerator when I'm doing with CA, especially with these small parts. I'll just take an accelerator and spray one side of the application, whatever I'm putting the part onto, and then I'll put the glue on the part, and then as soon as I touch it in, it'll stay. But sometimes I can't use that because if it's something like these little braces where I may need to adjust them, if it sets up too quick, then it makes it much tougher to adjust it. So I won't use it, but a lot of times I will use that. Just to make it a little faster. Plus, I don't have a tendency to knock the piece around while I'm gluing it. Okay, like this. By the way, if you do get little pins like these, they're super sharp. So if you're going to do that, get a little piece of foam of some sort, just a scrap piece to put them in. Makes it much easier on you than if you're trying to pick them out of a jar or a tray or something, because you will become a pin cushion. Okay. Now I'm going to go with this one. Anyway, this is what we've got so far. Doesn't look like much, but it will. One thing I've found out about doing stuff like this, or even working, if I was doing something that was tedious, or I was doing something that I didn't want to be having to be doing, I just keep going. Quit thinking about how bad it is, and just keep your head to the grindstone, and pretty soon you're done, and you're at home with your feet up. And this kind of is the same way. Some of this stuff I love doing, and some of it is just really so tedious that it's not a lot of fun, but I know I got to get it done if I want the building or whatever I'm doing to be there. And it does give you a sense of accomplishment when you get finished. That's kind of fun too. I love working with my hands. Used to be more than I do now, because not so much because I shake or anything, but I'm getting arthritis in my hand, especially my right hand. And it's making it tougher and tougher to do this little stuff like this. Okay, now let's get this across. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Don't worry, you're not missing much. You're not missing much. I'm just building the tower portion of my sanding tower. It's a copy of the one at Silverton, not at Silverton, at Durango, or what used to be in Durango. I don't think it's there. In fact, I'm sure it's not there any longer. Um, I say it's not there. It may still be there. It may be on the back side of the roundhouse, back where they load the coal and stuff like that. Because they don't have a coaling tower anymore. I know they use a front end loader to load the coal in the tenders, but they may still use a sanding tower for the sand. I haven't really gotten back there and researched it when I've been there, so I may do that next time I'm there. It's the one thing I haven't done is gotten the guided tour around the roundhouse. They've got a really nice museum in the roundhouse, and they've got a model layout in there. They've got several cars and engines that they've refurbished over the years are in there, and it's free. You don't even have to get a ticket on the train to go into the museum. So if you're ever in Durango, make sure you go to the Roundhouse and see that. And if you can't find it, it's right next to the McDonald's. The other thing I don't worry about too much is getting all these pieces on perfectly square and straight and that sort of thing, because over the years, you know how wood's going to be. Well, you can see the two platform pieces I put on there. I don't know if you can really tell that they're not completely parallel. But that kind of stuff happens in a wood structure, so I don't have a problem with it. It just kind of for me, adds to the realism of the project. I know Mike McCarville's probably shaking his head at me, but I just had a little blurb come across my phone, said there was a 100-car pileup in Texas, 6 dead. They must have really got pounded. I haven't been looking at the weather down, other than our immediate area weather, but they must have got pounded down there. Of course, if you want people that don't know how to drive in the snow and ice, go to Texas. Oklahoma's pretty bad too, but Texas gets less than we do. So, okay, we're looking like we've got all our brackets and everything in place. I think. I won't swear to it at all. Okay, that's supposed to be an extra support under there on that. And that's this skinny little dog here. See you, Fred. Take care. No, Steve, I haven't either. And the wife and I went to New England, Vermont, New Hampshire several years ago to see the trees, and we stayed at. I don't know. I'm not sure what part of the country you're from, but if you've ever been up there, there's a place in Cowiche. I think it's Cowiche, Vermont. That is the place we stayed was an old farm that had been owned by a colonial colonel, I think they said. This thing looked like the set of Holiday Inn or White Christmas when we drove up. And that place, I guarantee you, didn't have a straight board in it. In fact, they had one of the floorboards in our bedroom. You had to be careful not to step in it because you'd twist an ankle. And I'm showing low battery. So I'm going to have to call this stream good here in just a second. Thank you guys for coming by. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it or were entertained or something. Like I say, I've got a Teespring channel if you feel so inclined, like you like to, if you collect t-shirts or coffee cups or something like that, then like I do. They're on there and they're about as cheap as I can get them. So, because I don't want to make any money off of it at all. But anyway, guys, I'm going to say goodbye for now. And before my battery runs completely out. Thanks for joining, Heath, Fred, Steve. I don't know who else is here. That's probably it. And then me, I think there's 5 of us on here right now. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Be careful in the weather. I know it's been kind of nasty here lately. So, so be careful out there. And we see you guys somewhere else on the channels. Have a good day.